YeahThisMilk starring
John Skywalker, baby. Now is the time to reanimate and recalibrate, reevaluate reality, then recalculate. Forgive the ignorance. Don't retaliate with ridicule. Just power down, then reactivate. Black Superman recharged by ultraviolet rays. Cognitive speed reaction faster than Sonic's brain. Alarm the world with God-level reawakening just so a Messiah can return back to slavery. The school of reincarnation, we live and we learn to relive and relearn every gift, every curse. Afterlife is life, that's a rebirth. Resurrect from a hearse, that's a rehearsal. And that was resent. Yo, I was resent to this life in a melanated avatar that I respawned in. If you react wrong, I'm not responding. I request the question, then I reply, rely on the process, then I refine. Fail once, succeed twice, then retry. All faith but no work? Then you should resign. See, every single moment is ripe for evolution, but June 28th is just another revolution around the sun. Ha ha, recycle my energy. My life is just a memory that's reimagined as a dream. It's a total recall when I wake up. Remaking my genetic makeup. Chakras getting rebalanced as I recenter. Deja vu when I remember. Foresight is a review from a rear view. History doesn't repeat itself. It appears to. So I make history, then rewrite it. Each verse like a magic spell when I recite it. I rewrote my verse, call it a reverse. Re-examine that in your research, then report as I resort to a strict diet of gratitude, restrictions on the remorse. See, I was fresh before, but now I'm refreshed. On set, I'ma set it off till it's reset. Devil's playground, or it's God's gym. I work it out during recess. With a heavy heart, I emotionally repress like it's bench press. I need relief cause I'm depressed. Took a deep breath. Respire as I recline, rethinking freedom in a free mind, or how to reinvent the wheel when I retire. I know a lot, but know-it-alls need a reminder. Gotta make you recognize what I iterate, cause it irritates whenever I reiterate. Had a premonition twice, that's a revision. Anything I reject is the resistance. I'm spiritual, not religious. Being woke is reorganized religion. Blast.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Sky. What's up, bro?
Bro, I'm feeling great, feeling good, doing better. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Great.
How long did it take you to write something like that, bro?
Bro, man, you know.
Better yet, how long did it take you to remember that?
See what you did there? Oh, man. Believe it or not, I'm still remembering the process of remembering. Writing it, it took me about a week.
That's it?
Yeah, that took me about a week.
Oh, that's dope.
And the way that it came about was it was inspired by a friend. And you tend to pull inspiration from sometimes unlikely places. I was watching an interview with one of my great friends, Ransom Rosina, shout out. And he said two words that began with re.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that, you know, I thought to myself, wait a minute, we haven't done that yet. Who's done that yet? I'm gonna do that piece. I haven't seen it done yet. And so I just challenged myself to write as many words as I could in a verse that began with the prefix re. And I will admit, I had to open a dictionary a few times, like, all right, how many is out there? But then I didn't want to just lay out the words.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to make sense, and I wanted it to be meaningful, and I wanted to also spread my energy, spread my knowledge, spread my worldview through that. So there's layers to it.
Most definitely.
But yeah, week to write it, and then I say that I'm still remembering it.
Hey man, how did you come up with your name Skywalker?
This was back in 2010. Mm-hmm. 2010. I used to go by Omega, and I wanted to break away from that. So I first read this book called The Shift, and it's by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And this is when I became aware of ego, and I felt like Omega was an ego, and I wanted to change that. So after I read the book, I was writing, and I came up with this line, or maybe this couplet. I said, I'm a Jedi Knight, a sly talker. The sky is the limit, and I'm a Skywalker. And then
that's hard.
I was like, yo, that's kind of hot. And I ended up making a song behind that. But just having that bar in itself, the original name was John the Skywalker. But I was like, I don't need the, there's no V, just John Skywalker. So Skywalker just was supposed to represent my spiritual path, right? So that's what John Skywalker represents. It's the spiritual path. It's that upward motion. Skywalker, right? So it's not necessarily a Jedi. It's not a Jedi Knight reference. Yeah.
Right. Tell me about the word, the name Omega. Tell me about how you came up with that, and tell me what it meant to you at the time you came up with it.
Omega means the end, and I didn't realize towards the end of Omega that it was sort of an end to myself, because I was actually on the wrong path. But when I initially came up with it, when I first started like really rapping, I say rapping a little bit more proficiently, this was like around 2003, 2004-ish. I started rapping online, and Omega came later. I had other names before that, but Omega just sounded cool, and it resonated, it stuck. And then my peers, they kind of reinforced the name. It was a good fit. But I wanted something that sounded cool. It was somewhat meaningful, but towards the end, I started realizing that I was really going down towards a dark path. And Omega kind of represented that. So I was like, all right, let me get rid of that and let's change the trajectory.
When you say you was going on a dark path, would you mind elaborate, or you want to stay away from it?
All right, we can elaborate. So I ended up following my father's path in a sense. This was right around, all right, so I go to Iraq, second tour. I have PTSD, but I don't know it. Drug abuse, substance abuse, going through this divorce. I'm sort of like in deadbeat father mode. And I'm sort of repeating the mistakes of my father. And I wasn't really conscious of that. So I was borderline suicidal at some point. I remember even just seeing things, seeing visions, and it just felt like I was about to die. I always felt like I was about to die.
Like a dark cloud was over you?
Yeah, and not even a dark cloud, but just within myself, I could just feel this. It was just like this ominous pull, and
that was Omega.
Just the nightmares, and I could feel it, man. And what brought me out of it, though, and then again, this is me. I was just chief and heavy, and I was just doing everything wrong. But I was functional. You know, I could go to work.
You was like a lot of us, dysfunctional, functioning
like
and dysfunctional. Yeah, a lot of us go through that shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So going through that towards the end, before I guess you could say I woke up in that sense, because you know, I'm chief and heavy, and I had the TV. I was smoking with some homies, and I had the TV on the music channel. This is like, mind you, this is like 2000, probably like somewhere around 2009, somewhere around 2009. And I'm listening to the music channel, and I heard this African music, and they were speaking in this tone, and someone said, "Yo, what are they saying?" And I was listening to them, and all I could hear is "Go back home, go back home." And I said, "I know what they're saying." And then I looked at them, and my eyes were just bulging big. And I said, "I gotta go back home." And then they looked at me and they laughed, and they didn't know I was dead serious about that. And so I told all my crew, "Hey, I'm going back home."
Where were you at the time?
Washington.
DC?
No, state.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to go back home?
Let's see. 2009. So shoot, I started moving. Like within that month, I started selling my furniture. I remember I got so much resistance. Shout out to Darius Seymour. He's my mentor. He kind of helped me through that process as well. You know, I let him know, hey, I'm going back home, and you know, I essentially, you know, quit my job and I just began that process. But I remember so much resistance. It was crazy. It just seemed like the universe, maybe the devil, the adversary, whatever you want to call it. I felt that energy trying to stop me from going. It seemed like no matter how much progress I made, I felt a resistance, and it just didn't make any sense.
Right.
How things were just going so awry. But yeah, it got done. I ended up packing up most of my stuff in the apartment, sold so much, and I was in my I got like one of those trailer U-Hauls, my 2007 Dodge Caliber, and I drove from Washington all the way back to Georgia.
Damn. How long is that ride?
Oh man, I think it took me about four days because I stopped. But I was also in school at the time for accounting, and I had to drop out because of the trip.
Right,
I didn't have an internet connection, and mentally I wasn't in that place.
Right.
It was just whatever that I knew, whatever that I knew, it just wasn't real enough for me anymore. So I was kind of trying to break through. So I couldn't.
You was going home to reset.
Yeah.
This guy. For real, that's what it really is.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta go home
Yeah,
sometime.
you got to, man. You got to.
Yeah, whatever that home is that's your safe haven that's inside your mind, you gotta go home. For me, my home is the wife, the kids, creating stuff. That's my home for me. You know what I mean? If it's not creating, if it's not family, if it's not having good conversations like we having right now, I don't feel at home, bro. I feel nauseous. I don't talk to me about no silly shit. I feel nauseous, bro. Let me ask you this, because you threw a lot of shit out there. You said PTSD, suicidal thoughts. I would say suicidal thoughts is lumped in with PTSD.
Yes, yeah.
But then you went through a divorce.
Yeah. And
on top of that, you was also chiefing and stuff like that. I want you to slow walk me. Take me through first of all, take me through the divorce. If you and anything you don't want to talk about, you be like, skip. It's okay. Tell me about the tell me about the divorce. Tell me what you think you could have done differently to stop the divorce.
Ooh.
Tell me what you think she could have done differently to stop the divorce. And then tell me how you got through the stages of PTSD. Now, I know you say your mentor helped you through some of these things, but I want you to slow walk me through. So if somebody out here might be watching this and trying to go through shit, and I want you to be the catalyst to help them get through it.
All right.
If possible.
Wow, because that's a lot. You just
I know, but you gave me a lot to work with.
Jeez.
That's you.
I was not the same person that I was when she first met me. This was a more naive John, a more innocent John, a more pure-hearted John.
When she met you? Okay, before you went over?
Yeah, before I went over. And then, we get married. So I went twice, right? But the first time I was okay after the first one. But it was after the first one we got married. Things were lovely. Oh my gosh, things were lovely. And it just seemed like we were inseparable. We were just perfect for each other. I come back from war. I have a new set of friends. Now, I didn't really have friends like that before. Or I did, right? I had my, my day ones. But this was a new set of friends. I come back. And a lot of them had PTSD. And I was in denial because I'm like, I'm good. My ex-wife knew that there was something off. And we tried, and we spoke about it.
Do me a favor. I'm sorry to stop you. Because it seemed like PTSD led to the divorce indirectly. So let's go to the PTSD first, and then let's come to the divorce, if you don't mind.
All right.
I'm okay. Are we okay with doing it that way?
All right. So
first of all, tell me, how do it feel to have PTSD? Tell me, how do you know you have PTSD? I'm not challenging that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then tell me how you got through it. That's what I want you to do, and then let's go into the divorce.
All right. It kind of creeps up on you, really. I mean, there's at-risk populations, right? Like poverty makes you at risk, violence, war makes you at risk, rape makes you, or being a female, females are twice as likely to get PTSD than males. But first off, let's start off with the experience. It's different for everyone. So the way that the DSM-4 or 5, whichever one you want to choose, and that's the diagnostic manual. So it's kind of like every car has a manual. So by those standards, there's like 4 categories or 4 traits of it. So there's like there's hypervigilance, there's that's the arousal aspect, the nightmares, the re-experiencing, flashbacks, the memories, the intrusive thoughts.
Did you say re-experiencing?
Re-experiencing. How that is
good.
Jeez, man.
I'm sorry. Good.
But the number one component is the trauma. And there's acute stress disorder, right? So it's sharp and it's shorter. It's somewhere around a 30-day window. But PTSD is longer than 30 days, right? So you can't just say you have PTSD simply because let's say you went through a divorce or you lost your job, right? That's still stressful, right? But it has to be prolonged, and it has to affect your daily functioning. It could be your hygiene, it could be your ability to work, it could be your relationships, how you relate to people. For me, it was a lot. Well, first off, I'm an introvert anyways. A lot of people don't know that. Well, some people know that. But it just seemed like my introversion was more aggravated. And that's why I felt in denial, because I was still socializing. I had my group, I had my peers, I was still functioning at work. And even though my my marriage was kind of on a decline, we were still working at it. But I didn't really start having nightmares until, well, first off, I stopped dreaming altogether. I used to be a very vivid dreamer. I used to remember my dreams, but I just stopped dreaming, and I didn't pay much attention to it. It was just, okay, I'm not dreaming, but whatever, it'll come back. So the not dreaming, and then being more anxious, like the anxiety and my intensity kind of increased. I felt on edge a lot without really knowing it. And then seeing it in my friends, I started seeing them transform too. Not to go too far off tangent, but just seeing it in them and just making the comparison. Oh, that's not me.
Seeing the mirror.
Yeah.
Seeing the mirror. Right.
And in some ways, it felt like I was going crazy. Like my reality was distorted at times. Like, okay, is that me? Man.
No, go. It's okay. Go, bro.
I remember looking at some of them with just this judgmental attitude. Like, how could you? And then at the same time, looking at myself and saying the same thing.
Right.
But not knowing why. So ultimately, the experience, it's exhausting, right? But it just crept up. It wasn't just instant. It's just the symptoms started to evolve over time, and they intensified over time.
Right.
So it really affected my marriage in the sense of we weren't really as intimate as before. I wasn't as open or emotionally vulnerable with her as I was.
Most men not. Just in general.
But I'm the sensitive guy. All right. I'm sensitive, so I was in denial throughout that whole process because I was this guy before the war, and I felt like I was still him. Optimistic, charismatic, intelligent, sensitive.
Right.
And to have folks in your circle say, you got this, or this is your condition, and you're like, no, I feel fine. Right? So as far as the divorce, in terms of things that could have been worked on, her part, my part, I really felt like it was more so me than her, because her thing was she was really maintaining loyalty to herself, and I didn't understand that at the time. She didn't sign up to be a military wife. She didn't sign up, marry me, so that she could deal with all of this with all this chaos.
Hold on now. Can I challenge you?
Okay, fair.
Can I challenge you?
Fair.
When you get married, you sign up for all that
Better
shit,
or
bro.
for worse, right?
You say that's what you sign up for.
Yeah.
You sign up for the good shit and the fuck shit.
Right. But
that's what marriage is.
But
okay.
When we say for better or for worse,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is better? What is worse? Their version of worse might not be the same as your worse. So I have a fair understanding of what her worse is.
I got you. So, do you think going forward with anybody, men and women, when we marry, do you think we should break down, okay, what is your worst? Ooh. What is your deal breaker?
Ooh.
I mean, because...
Can you know that?
That's the thing. Because the thing is like, if like, the way I look at it is like, if we married, we gonna rock till we die. You know what I mean? Like, if you fuck up, you fuck up. If I fuck up, I fuck up. But let's fix these fuck ups and let's move forward. I don't know if everybody look at life or marriage like that. The thing is, for my thought process, you going to deal with some shit you don't want to deal with to break generational curses. And these are some of the things you might not want to deal with in marriage. Am I tripping?
Nah. Okay. Or if you are, then you're tripping good.
Okay, I appreciate that. But so I challenge you on this part. This is what I challenge. I challenge you for her. She probably should have done some more. She should have done some research to figure out, okay, what's wrong with my husband? And I think she should have went to counseling with you. And here's the thing, y'all might have went to counseling.
No, we didn't. That's the thing. She went to counseling, but we didn't go to counseling. And I was willing to go to counseling with her.
Okay. Well,
but her counselor, according to what she told me, her counselor kind of advised or recommended a separation just so that she could figure out what she wanted to do.
That's not a good counselor. Like, anytime you deal with a counselor, and like, unless you've put your hands on her or just verbally abusing her or some shit like that, But then again, if you are doing anything like that, now, women, I want to make sure I'm clear on something. I'm not making excuses for any man hitting a woman. None of that shit is cool to me, right? But if this man is obviously, not saying this happened with you, bro, all right? Because I want to be clear. We're not talking about Skywalker now. We're just talking hypothetical.
Yes.
If a man is completely out of himself and he's not him, it's your job to help him get back to being him. Just like women, if you're not yourself, it's your husband's job to help you get back to who you were. Am I tripping?
Support, man. If you care, especially if you care. If you care about the relationship. And it's not, I don't feel, in my mind, in my heart, I don't feel as if she didn't care.
She just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
She just didn't know what to do.
And she was young. We were both young.
How old were y'all about that time?
Yeah, well, we were about, 20, I was like around 25, 26.
Yeah. How old was she probably about?
She was like, 2 years younger than me, 2 or 3 years younger than me.
Yeah, that's information she probably just wouldn't have at that time.
Yeah,
I mean, not just that, mental health was not big back then. You know what I mean? So you going through shit at the black community, we looking at that shit like, what the fuck wrong with this dude? You know what I mean? Man, you better take a nap. You know what I mean? That's the same shit we would say. Take a nap or drink some ginger ale.
But we tried. I don't want to make it seem like she.
No, we're not beating her. We're not bashing her. We're not
tried,
bashing her.
But given where she was, and again at that time, I felt the ultimate betrayal. Like, I want to make this work, and her thing was, okay, I hear you, but I'm not sure. So she proposed the separation to me.
No. Correction. The counselor proposed the separation to her, and then she proposed it to you.
All right.
Am I tripping? Challenge me back,
man. I mean,
you're intelligent.
Regardless of whether they came to the agreement, it's just I know that she had a conversation with another agency other than myself, and I wasn't included in that decision-making process.
Right.
So I say, okay, well, y'all came up with that, all right, and you're proposing it to me, so. My thing was, what does this entail, this separation? And it was essentially like a break. And I say, is it guaranteed that you're coming back? And she said, no. I said, well, what's the point? I'm going to sit here and wait for you to make a decision. And then what happens if the decision isn't in my favor? I wasted all this time when I could have just been moving on.
Right.
And so
fucking them hoes. I was just playing.
He's playing. Oh man. But the idea was, I got where she was coming from, but at the same time, I noticed that she was really just looking out for herself, rightfully so, because it just seemed like I wasn't looking out for her anymore. So it wasn't the same John,
Most definitely.
right?
Most
and I just refused to just go through a separation period when I could just use that time to do exactly what she's gonna be doing. It's just, hey, let's just end it, because that's where it's gonna arrive at that point. But I will say, in lieu of the PTSD, and I wonder sometimes if it could have worked out. After I went to war, I questioned everything, my religion and my politics. I questioned America, because I went over there and I saw something different from what I was conditioned to see. And it was like, okay, let me move the curtains out the way. All right, we need to renegotiate now.
Agree.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh. Gosh, man. Why am I doing this to myself?
Hey, man. I'm just here. I'm here, baby. I'm just here listening.
Wow. But I was asking all these questions, and I was imposing so much on her. I was demanding so much out of her, especially just questioning Christianity. I grew up Christian, and I was all for it, just passionate about it. But then I wondered, what if I was wrong? What if everything, because apparently I was wrong, but what if there's something else? And I remember, just challenging her on some of this, and she just didn't have the answers.
Right.
And then I remember us going to church a few times and me asking, a few pastors, a few odd questions, stuff that just stuck out in scripture.
What's some of the questions?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But just the whole narrative of the Bible and such. But I also was asking this in relation to the experience that I had. It was a traumatizing experience.
Most definitely.
Right? So it just shook my reality, and it made me question what's going on. Why is it this way? Okay, let me look to my religion or my sense of spirituality for an explanation, because that's why we have spirituality. That's why we have religion. And when I couldn't find it just off of the model that I was given, then I started asking questions, and I wanted to search for more. So asking her, I placed a burden on her, and it was an unwelcome one. And at that point, I didn't know at the time, but at that point was kind of when the awakening started. And it's not this smooth, fluid, golden, peaceful thing that people assume it to be. An awakening is like the alarm clock went off, and it's just a shock.
Right, and that shit is on blast. It's a alarm clock set to a stereo system, and it's on blast.
And when you wake up, you're just grumpy and you're angry.
Right.
Why am I awake?
I think you mad because you was fooled, and it's like you smart, and you like, I was fooled? These bitches got me.
Ego.
They got me.
Ego. But I had to agree to that, though.
Yeah,
could, even if you're young, even if your mind is mature, you agree to it simply because it appeals to you, or perhaps you value the authority that.
Or you was indoctrinated.
Yeah.
But based on what you're saying, I feel like we might from my perspective, we can let her off the hook, because it seemed like you had a Rubik's cube of emotions and issues that she wouldn't be able to figure out. It is something only you would be able to figure out.
And even if we tried to work it out, that would have meant me admitting that I had PTSD, which I did not do. It took me years after that for me to come to grips that I have this condition.
Right.
So even with us being together, and my homeboys telling me this, yo, you got it. Go get checked out. Nah, man, I'm good. I would still not only have to get checked out, get diagnosed, I would need to start treatment in order to give or reinvest back into the relationship and restore it.
Yeah, but I reinvest into the relationship and restore it. Let me say this to you. The crazy thing is I understand why I understand it, right? I still don't agree with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The way I look at marriage, and here's the thing. even my wife might not even look at it the way I look at it. You know what I mean? I know that might be my own thought process, my own burden, right?
Yeah.
The way I look at marriage is like, we here. We're going to ride until we die. And we're going to figure this shit out together. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, if we really friends, marriage, you're supposed to marry your best friend. And if you're my best friend, you supposed, like, when I'm at my worst, you're supposed to try to lift me up. I feel like the whole world is against me. I need you to put your hand on my shoulder and pull me up as a man and say, baby, it's going to be okay. And that's going to make me feel stronger. Am I tripping?
You're right, man. You're in the proper space with it. I will say that's a value we share.
Right.
But, and I had that value before, right? And I figured my spouse at the time had the same value. That's one of the reasons why we were in it, right? But I will say over time, that view kind of changed. Because even to say that this is your best friend, right? This is your best friend based under certain conditions. If you were a different person, would y'all even be friends in the first place?
You's basically saying y'all are best friends under the conditions you set initially, right? Not you best friends when you come back from serving 2 wars in Iraq. Was it Iraq?
Yeah, Iraq.
Are you still? You're not even you. So how can she be your best friend when you're not even you?
Who are you? Who's
I don't
this
know
guy
who you
that I
are.
married?
Right.
You gonna stick around for that? But it's a stranger in your house.
But here's the thing, though. I challenge this. Like, are we ever who we were when we first met somebody? Don't we consistently change and bend and twist to become different people?
So it begs the question as to when you're making this vow, you're making this promise. It's kind of arrogant to a certain degree. It's kind of arrogant. You're making this promise with the prospect or perhaps this wavering intention that you can control who you're going to become and how you're going to become it.
And what your likes and dislikes are. Yeah.
So you're saying, I will be with you till the end. But how do you really know that? You're just taking a very strong guess. Like, yeah, you have confidence. Do you have 95% confidence?
Is it faith?
Faith, yeah. Confidence, I say faith is underneath confidence. Confidence is more reinforced.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, faith.
Yeah.
Do you still have faith in this thing that we're nurturing, that we're cultivating?
Is that the thing? Do you think she lost? When you look back at it, do you think she lost faith? Because to me, when there's a divorce happen, one person or 2 people lost faith.
So she doubted the relationship. That's fair. Or okay, so I'm kind of uncomfortable with saying lost faith in any regard.
Okay.
I say you redirected your faith.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, man! How did we? Oh man! Redirect your faith.
Right.
I don't believe in this religion anymore. I don't believe in this political party anymore. So I'm directing my faith instead of I lost faith. Yeah, the faith isn't here, but it's not lost. It's just in a different place. It's not yours anymore. Yeah. And even with if we look at my faith, for me to say that I still had faith, I'm not sure because I challenged so much. Like, yeah, I wanted to be there. I didn't want to give up. But I wasn't honest with myself either. So I have to also question the nature of the faith. Right. You have to be honest with yourself.
I want to be clear on 2 things. One, when I said the whole joke about chasing the hoes earlier, when I say hoes, I'm not talking about black women, or I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about promiscuous women. I want to be clear on that first of all right? I want to be clear on that first of all. The next thing is, I am no longer challenging your wife. I don't want her to feel like we're attacking her. I'm just challenging the thought process of marriage. That's all I'm doing. It's not her no more. It's the thought process of marriage. So if she ever see this or anybody see this, I don't want nobody to feel like we attacking or I'm attacking her. I just want to attack the thought process behind marriage.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, it's a vehicle, though. Marriage is a vehicle, right? Like, you're this unit, and you say, we're going to get into this unit, this ship, this forever ship, right? And you have this idea, and it's a very fantastic idea, that you're going to go all the way until you die. It's like, how can you know that? How can you really know that? You don't, right? So it goes back to faith.
Yeah. I was watching something with Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin, right? And they were just having a discussion. And one of the things Nikki kept pushing on to Alex was like, listen, why not just fake it? Like, you know what we're going through. You fake it at work. You smile at work for those motherfuckers at work. When your friends say some silly ass shit to you, you smile at them and fake it for them. So she was basically saying, why can't we fake it for each other for our kids? And she just broke the shit down. I was just listening like, damn, that is a perspective. I mean, you know, like, a lot of times we do everything for everyone besides the ones who do stuff for us the most.
Fake it, though. Like, if you're
But when she said fake, I don't think she really meant fake it. I don't know. I would have to talk to her.
Okay, so maybe, all right, perhaps she meant, she was saying that in the context of duty.
Yes.
Right?
That's what I think she meant. That's what I think she meant.
Yeah.
I don't think she mean
keep
like...
it together, because, you know, I hear that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Let's stay together for the kids.
Right.
But what message are you conveying to the kids, right? Because you still got to have a sense of authenticity in all this.
Most definitely.
Right? So you're in this thing, but you don't really want to be in this thing.
You don't want to be at work, though. That's what Nikki was saying.
There's a value conflict, right? There's a value conflict. However, you make your choice based on the value you chose, right? So I'm doing this out of a sense of duty versus I'm doing this out of a sense of authenticity. But what message am I what am I passing down to my progeny? And if your children learn to stay...
Stop. Progeny. Give me the definition for that.
Your offspring, your children.
Okay, I thought that, but I didn't want to assume. I want to know.
Yeah.
We'll go. I like that. Go ahead.
You're passing this information down. So yeah, they have the image. They have this image, but it's not a real image. So in a way, you're selling them this dream, and they're going to remember that mom and dad stayed together. But what happens when they go through the experience? Internally, what they're feeling doesn't match the way that it looks.
Most definitely.
So,
but I think you can let your kids know, like, yo, we went through some real shit. I mean, shit ain't, you know, shit like, oh, look, it's walking apart, but this shit, like, marriage is work. I don't care who you see out there that look like they smiling and they hee ha ha. That shit is work. That shit is consistent work. Now, let me say it the right way. Just like a job, it could be a good job work, or it could be a bad day at work.
all right.
But it's work.
All right.
You ain't in work. Marriage is not just. It ain't no taking no fly-ass pictures and posting on social media. That shit is work behind closed doors, on each other. She's working on you, you working on her. You got her back, she got her back. If she's sick, you help her get back well. If you sick, she help you get back well, physically and mentally.
Okay.
Am I tripping?
Now, you're tripping in a good way.
All right.
Because that's the essence of it, right? But I would also, because you said job. What about career? Could marriage be a career?
Well, when it's a good way, that's when it's a career.
Okay.
When you consistently working at it, that's when it's a job.
All right, because when I think of job, it's a place you don't want to be at. When I think about a career, you want to be here, even if it's bad.
Yeah, well, when it's going good. When you got past all the bullshit. See, when you working through the bullshit, that's when it's a job. When you get past that and you start, and y'all found y'all rhythm, that's when it become the career.
Okay.
But any job you could first start working at, it's always a job initially until you find your rhythm and you get the longevity you need, and that's when it become the career you want.
The stability.
Yeah. And then your faith in each other becomes stronger because y'all done worked at the job so long.
The evidence is
did it become career? Y'all got y'all certifications and everything, degrees and bullshit.
Bing. Yeah, you elevated each other, and there's an equilibrium there. The equity is there. My spiritual mirror.
Most definitely.
We didn't talk. Yeah, marriage, PTSD.
Yeah. Real shit. We real shit. My other question to you is this: